Hello, hope you're all well. Happy 2025. I thought I'd kick off the new year with another book review. This is an excellent book by someone called Joseph Murphy. You may have heard of him. He wrote a really popular book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. That's probably his most popular book, and he wrote that in 1963. But he actually wrote, I think it was about over 30 titles, and some of them are quite hard to find, but I find them really fascinating, because all these new thought authors, they're all kind of saying the same thing, that we are God, we have this divine power, it's not something outside of us, it's something that we are. We just need to relax, surrender in faith, and allow this energy, if you like, to work through us. So the book I'm going to speak about today is a book that he wrote called The Cosmic Energizer, which is a really cool title. He basically said that we're a channel for the divine, and we need to let the divine flow through us, just like we'd let an electric current go through a bulb. And he basically talks about this power a little bit like electricity, that it's something that has great power, and we can use it to really help us with anything in our life, basically. The main point of the book is how to impress the subconscious mind, because whatever we impress the subconscious mind with through our mental imagery, through our self-talk, and also through our inner speech, if we can basically get the subconscious mind to agree at that very deep level that this is what we're believing, this is fact, then that gets birthed into reality, essentially. So he says it's about constantly impressing the mind with mental imagery, affirmation, and feeling. And throughout the book, he has so many different stories from different people. And there was this one particular lady. She had her bills piling up. Her husband was laid off. Her son had a college fee. And she was looking at the external circumstances, being like, oh my God, how am I going to cope with this? And Joseph Murphy suggested prayer. So that's what he'd do. He'd go around and give people these sort of prayer treatments, a little bit like Reverend Ike does. And he basically says, just have a prayer, like ask and it shall be received, or knock and you shall receive. So she affirmed a statement. So she wrote a statement that all her needs were met. She thanked God, universe, divine power for these riches. She said, thank you that my husband's got a job. Thank you that my house is sold. All these things that she needed to do. And she did this 3 or 4 times a day. She never denied what she affirmed, which is important. She implanted these images into her subconscious mind of getting more abundance, husband getting a job, etc. He said that's really important, not to deny what you affirm, because he says that your soil is like your subconscious mind. So imagine planting a seed. So by having these mental imagery, these affirmations, you're planting seeds in a soil. And if you're then later on going about your day and saying, oh, I can't afford this, or you're talking to yourself, you're then digging up that seed. So he says that it's really important to add faith, confidence, and love into the seed. So it could be any sort of affirmation or belief, like the right people come to me at the right time, or I always get opportunities come towards me, that sort of thing. So in essence, it's the same sort of premise that all the new thought authors talk about, which is not looking to the external for the source, because that's not the source. The source is within. So by tapping into the source within us, subconscious mind, God, whatever you want to call it, you're impressing it. The subconscious mind is taking it on as fact, and then you will see it eventually outpictured into your reality. he talks about impregnating the subconscious mind. But then he said you've got to also be really mindful of what you're saying to yourself, your inner speech. He was talking about somebody who had a job, and they were saying to themselves inwardly, not externally, they were saying, there's no future there, you know, this job's no good anymore, all of that sort of thing. So it doesn't really matter what you say externally, is what matters is the energy or the vibration. That's the key thing. So the book's really good. I highly recommend it. You can find it here on YouTube. I will link to it below. He adds a lot of different affirmations throughout the book, specifically saying that the reason why we include affirmations is to establish the mental equivalent of everything you want in your life. So if we flip everything on its head and think, okay, reality is just outpicturing what I'm conceiving of in my thoughts, my emotions, my feelings, what about if I create an inner world that is completely abundant and has everything? He also says, never use the word can't in any circumstances. He said that when you have that true faith, it results in a conviction. So he said that's one of the ways to know if you've impressed your subconscious mind. You'll know it by just having that feeling of like, yeah, it's done. He says that basically having a possession of it mentally is the key to allow this cosmic power to flow through us, and that we can give thanks to it. Like, we've already got it. It's fine. It's already done. It's already done. So he calls it mind power, or the power of trust and faith. He also says it's the presence of God in man. So imagine that you are like a bulb, a light bulb, and you have a current running all the way through you. And this current is the mind power, or it is God, or it is the divine, it is a source. And this is what projects out. And by your thoughts, by your words, your inner speech, and by your mental imagery, you're impressing onto that substance. And then that substance is outpicturing into your reality. So yeah, he talks about everything as, if you look at everything as divine substance, so there's no outer and inner, everything is just one. So by looking at everything as divine substance, everything is God, everything is energy, right? We already know this. So everything is energy. So whatever we're thinking, feeling, impressing onto our subconscious is like really important. Yeah, and he just shares so many stories of people using it in a way that they've got results. And then he also shares stories of people that have used it and maybe don't get the results. And he's very practical, Joseph Murphy. He shares that as to why it didn't happen. And he shares a story of a guy that basically says, oh, I've got, a great income, blah, blah, blah. I've got the house of my dreams, or whatever his affirmation was. And he didn't get the results. And he went to the guy and he was like, why, talk me through what was happening. And the guy said, well, to be honest, when I was saying it, I was feeling that, it wasn't going to happen for me, sort of thing. So he was asking amiss, as Joseph Murphy would say. He was saying the affirmations, but he wasn't really feeling it. And that's the key. Our subconscious mind works on the basis of feeling. And if you find this hard to do, he suggests doing it in the morning and the evening, or just spending a few times throughout your day. You can even set an alarm, I guess, and just dwell in that feeling, or dwelling the feeling of totality, that feeling of absolute abundance. And just keep on doing that, essentially, because then you're impressing the unconscious mind. So as you're falling asleep, dwelling those feelings, because as you're falling asleep and as you're waking up, you've got much less resistance to those things, because your conscious mind might be like, yeah, but da 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 da, and come up with all these limiting beliefs. So it's your subconscious mind that you want to impress, and the subconscious mind is not biased, it's just instructional. It would just carry out orders, essentially. But it's that deep level that we need to access. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed my little synopsis. I want to do more Joseph Murphy, so if you like this and you enjoyed it, please feel free to leave me a comment below. Thanks.